Hello, hello. Happy Sunday, beautiful people. It is so very good to be here with you on this Sunday morning as we gather together to celebrate the magnificence and significance of the presence and power of God operating in, through, and as each and every one of us. I want to ground us in a reading today from the Daily Word, and we will take that reading into our prayer. The word today is release, and the affirmation, I release old beliefs as I grow and evolve. So many things shaped my beliefs over the years: my upbringing, family history, education, friendships, and spiritual life, to name a few. As I go through life, I will have new experiences and meet all kinds of people. I may find old beliefs that once fit me well, fit me no longer. Growing and deepening in spiritual understanding may mean releasing ways of thinking that no longer serve me. But I can do that and still honor the person I was, my background, and my history. Releasing makes room in my mind and opens my heart for the person I am becoming. Releasing my old beliefs readies me for a future of growth and evolution. Again, the affirmation, I release old beliefs as I grow and evolve. And so from this place of awareness, I invite you to get still, stop what you're doing, and close your eyes. As we close our outer eye, we open our inner eye to see more clearly. We open our inner eye to see the eternal. We open our inner eye to see as God sees. So from this place of awareness, I invite you now to just take a conscious breath in and a conscious breath out. Again, we take a conscious breath in and a conscious breath out. Breathing in love to your mind, letting it grow in your heart. We breathe out love to our world. There is only one mind. There is only one power. There is only one presence. This mind, this power, this presence that I speak of, it is my life now. This mind, this power, this presence, this life that I speak of, it is your life now. It is the one life. It is the thing that is back of, behind, and underneath all manifested expression of life. It is you, it is me, it is the mountain, it is the bird, it is the tree, it is the fish, it is the river, it is the ocean, it is the snow, it is the sunlight, it is the moonlight. It is the thing that is back of, behind, and underneath all things.
Yes.
For all things are God, and God is all things. All things are consciousness, and consciousness is all things. All things are spirit, and spirit is all things. And as I recognize this truth, I recognize omnipresence. I recognize that the power and presence that I call God is right here and right now. I recognize omnipresence. I recognize that it is with me and within me. I recognize omnipresence. It is with you and within you. I recognize omnipresence. It neither comes nor goes. It is here. It is now. All of God is here. All of God is now. All of good is here. All of good is now. Breathe in that reality with you and within you. For the truth is, we are one with God and one of God. The truth is, God is one with us, and we are one with God. The truth is, God is us. We are individualized, particularized, unique, undivided expressions of the all. While our physical eyes show us difference and variety, our spiritual eyes show us that we are rooted, grounded, and connected in source, always, in all ways, and can never, ever, ever be separate from our source, from the source of life, from the source of good, from the source of supply, from the source of guidance, from the source of wisdom, from wisdom and intelligence itself. We can never, ever, ever be separate, for we are undivided. And so it is out of this awareness that I speak a word of faith. I speak a word of truth. I speak a word of love. I speak a word of worthiness. I speak a word of power. As we gather together for the weekend service on this Sunday, we gather together knowing the truth of who and whose we are and choosing to celebrate this truth as one family. We gather together to awaken the presence of God in, through, and as all people, awaken it in our awareness, and to embody unconditional love. We gather together to be equipped to live our greatest lives and then to serve all creation. I am so grateful and thankful for every soul that is here now. I am grateful and thankful for every soul that is co-creating this experience. I am grateful and thankful for the good that is already present and will express itself in new and more powerful and profound ways as the weekend service. I am grateful for the healing. I am grateful for the prosperity. I am grateful for the joy. I'm grateful for the peace. All of this and so much more shall be, for we are here now, rooted and grounded in the good. So with joy and thanksgiving, I release this prayer, releasing it back into the law, which is always in operation, responding and becoming. I release it to the law because I understand the law. I release it to the law because I trust the law. For this, I am so very grateful. Together we lift up our voices and we say, Amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is, and so it must be. Well, hello, beautiful people. Happy Sunday. I'm Pastor Greg.
I'm Pastor Yolanda.
We are happy and joyful. So grateful to be here with you on this Sunday. We trust that all of you are well and doing well and continuing to be well wherever you may be across this beautiful planet that we call Earth. If you are a first-time guest, hello, welcome. We're grateful that someone or something brought you to this live stream today, and we're confident that something will be done, something will be said that will support you in your life, supporting you in living an empowered life and thriving in your life. The first time you come to CSC, you're a guest, but when you come back, you're family. So we welcome you to the CSC family. And as a member of our wider global community, we would love to stay in touch with you, and we trust that you would love to stay in touch with us. And so the information you see there on your screen is how you access your digital connection card. That is your way to stay in touch with us and for us to stay in touch with you. All you have to do is text the keyword welcome to that phone number, 347-472-1078. Again, just the keyword welcome to 347-472-1078, and you'll receive an automated reply with a link. Click that link. It takes you to your digital connection card. Complete the information. We just need your name and your email address. It's not a bunch of fields and surveys and things. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. Once you submit that information, you'll receive a follow-up text that says you're all set. And indeed, you will be. You'll receive our weekly newsletter that comes out on Fridays and all the other information that we send out to the community. Now, if you happen to be watching from somewhere or for some reason unable to text this phone number, look in the description here on YouTube or here on Facebook, and you'll see that the full URL is actually there in the description. So you can click that link and go directly to the digital connection card, complete it, and then again, you're all set. We're so grateful to see you all. We're so grateful to be here with you. We also encourage you as a first-time guest, if you so desire, to shout yourself out in the comments. Let us know where you're connecting in from. Shout out your city, state, country, because you will see that there are folks from all over the planet connecting here right now in our live stream, and you may find that there's someone connected from the same city, state, or country that you are in today. So we have a wonderful, wonderful service. It is Healing Sunday, and so there's so many wonderful things happening this Sunday. So of course, we want to move forward with our news and updates so that we can get into the meditation, to our Healing Sunday prayer, the music, and the message. It is the last Sunday in February, and here at CSC, we have been honoring and recognizing Black History Month. For those of you who are in the CSC Live group and the Church Center app, we've shared the playlist where we did a series some years ago on Black history and New Thought, highlighting some unsung teachers and within New Thought. You can also access that on our YouTube channel, something very powerful to tap into. But we celebrate Black people, Black culture, Black excellence, Black beauty, and Black joy here at CSC. So often, unfortunately, being Black and Blackness seems to be synonymous with struggle and strife and pain, and it's so hard and rough side of the mountain. We do not affirm that here at CSC. There is so much beauty in Blackness and Black and brown people, and that is what we celebrate as we celebrate Black history. It is Healing Sunday. Every fourth Sunday is Healing Sunday. What is Healing Sunday? This is a moment that we set aside to hold a specific affirmative prayer treatment for healing. We know that healing is our birthright. We know that healing is available for each and every one of us, and we dare to believe that we can be healed. And so we speak the word of faith. It has been powerful and profound. We're going to be sharing a wonderful healing report today with our before our Healing Sunday prayer. And of course, we also speak the names of those that are in need of healing. So there's still time to invite someone to tap into this vibration and step into the river of healing. And of course, you can share this wherever you share the good things that are happening in your life and in your world. Every fourth Sunday and fourth Wednesday, second and fourth Wednesday, in support of our current sermon series, I am teaching Put Down Your Bible, or Reimagine the Bible True Study. So that means that this Wednesday, we'll be gathering together again here on YouTube or Facebook and also on Zoom. It has been a powerful teaching series because I recognize that this sermon series requires the opportunity to ask more questions, to have a dialogue. The sermon series really requires me to teach a little more, and so I think there's growth and enlivenment that is happening with each session, and so we'll of course continue this through next month. So please plan to join me on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for the Put Down Your Bible series. If you have a prayer request, you can send in that prayer request to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. We are always holding the entire community in our hearts and our minds, knowing the highest, the very best for each and every one of you. And we recognize that you may have a specific prayer request, or you may have a prayer request, you want to submit the name of someone you know, and this is how you do it. Send an email to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. And of course, as you send that email, see yourself casting that burden on the mind of God and going free. You don't have to explain what's going on. Just simply send in your name, or just say, I'm in need of prayer, right? You can keep it very simple, straightforward, so that you can put the focus of your attention on the answer, on the solution, on the truth. Again, send that to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. And when your prayer is answered, when you experience that miracle, when you experience that shift, we want to hear about it. So you can share your prosperity report and send it to that very same email address, prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. Now, every Wednesday morning, we gather together for the Momentum Prayer Call that happens at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Momentum Prayer Call, it's a perfect way to continue the momentum that we create here on Sunday, and it is a perfect way to create momentum at the beginning of your day on Wednesday morning. So we dial in, we share a reading, pray, move on with our day. It is wonderful, it is power-filled, it is power-packed. But of course, you may not be able to be there live for any number of reasons. Every prayer is recorded. So you can use that playback number you see on your screen, enter the access code, then press the pound sign as instructed. You'll hear the automated voice tell you to do that. And the most recent prayer will play. That means that you have access to the power of affirmative prayer 24/7, anywhere, anytime. Make use of this. This is a part of your spiritual toolkit. It is here for you, and we hear from so many of you that it has been impactful as you are able to tap into the vibration of prayer when it is needed, rather than running to fear, doubt, and worry. Our study series of the month for this month is Well Not Woke, inspired by the Black Art of Escape by Casey Gerald, which is a powerful essay written in 2019. Well Not Woke offers a different point of view of how to operate in the world. The first sermon in that series says, you are not a thermometer, right? What does a thermometer do? A thermometer simply regurgitates what the environment is, right? But the thermometer can't change anything. And so in some ways, then a thermometer is powerless because it can just say, oh, it's 50 degrees. Hey, y'all, it's 50 degrees. It's 50 degrees, right? But you are not a thermometer. You're actually a thermostat. The beauty of the thermostat is the thermometer says it's 50 degrees, and the thermostat says, I want it to be 70 degrees, and it can turn the dial and change the temperature. And so often, unfortunately, we have been taught to interact with life from a thermometer consciousness, but you are not a thermometer. And when you understand that, that's what leads you to wellness, that your sense of regulation, your sense of peace, your sense of clarity is not based on the things that are happening in the world. Yes, there are things happening in the world, but you have power over what's happening in your world and in yourself, in your body. And this is a lot of what this series supports you in understanding, so that you can operate from a place of peace. Operating from a place of peace will allow you to impact the world and change the things that you desire to change in a meaningful way. Beautiful soul, you are not behind. It just feels that way because you've been trying to change from your effort instead of alignment. Timing isn't the issue, consciousness is. When your consciousness shifts, timelines collapse. If you want your year to feel different because you are different, then I invite you to join Multi-Manifestor Mastery. Enrollment closes tomorrow. There is still time to sign up. There are still folks signing up today and yesterday. And so you can go to celebrationsc.org/register to get all the details, to find out there are different ways to get in, different payment plans and different payment levels that will meet you where you are. But enrollment closes tomorrow and the course begins on Tuesday. So you can scan the QR code or go to that URL. And I look forward to you all joining me and transforming your lives in powerful ways. Finally, the Church Center app. It is your way to stay in touch with the entire CSC community outside of the live stream. You can download the Church Center app by using the URL you see there on your screen or by using the QR code. And once you download the app, then you want to go to the Groups tab and join the CSC Live group. This is where we're having wonderful conversations. This is where you can ask questions. This is where you can share prosperity reports. This is where you can share your joy. And it's wonderful to keep that vibration going. I love seeing the notifications popping up on my phone throughout the week because it keeps us all connected to this vibration of CSC. So again, you can go to that URL, celebrationsc.churchcenter.com/setup to download the app. It'll take you into the CSC space and then join the group so that you can chat and interact with us all. That concludes our news and updates for this Sunday, which means it is now time for meditation as we are led and go within and led so beautifully by PY with the meditation experience.
Yes, it is time for the meditation experience, our weekly opportunity to come together to remember the truth of who and whose we are, and to tap into that truth that is always being broadcast from within us, that is always permeating from within us. And we like to teach. We love to teach, in fact, all kinds of sacred text and understanding and knowing. And yet it is only through your direct experience of the God within yourself for yourself that you even know the things you're reading are real and true for you. Something came up last week, and I want to acknowledge it. This idea that we can't sit, or that we're judging that we are sitting for meditation. And there is judgment around that. There's performance around that. And meditation is neither of those things. I like to say, if you can breathe, you can meditate. If there is agitation in the system, we don't judge it. We don't try to focus on it to remove it. We just simply breathe. We simply breathe. I love how Maharishi used to say, take it as it comes. That way you're not comparing it to the last time you meditated or worried about the future time you'll meditate. It is simply just following the path of breath, letting go of the thoughts that would make you feel that you're not doing it correctly. Because if you're here, you're alive, you're breathing, then you're meditating correctly. So please try not to judge yourself. Sometimes sitting feels harder. Sometimes sitting reminds us that we haven't been allowing stillness, or that stillness feels foreign, but it doesn't mean you're doing meditation wrong. It just simply means we get to breathe, take our focus off of the judgment around it and be in the experience. That agitation or inability to sit fosters all kinds of thoughts. And thoughts are just things that we think. They don't mean anything about us or our connection to Source. So please honor yourself. Be compassionate with yourself as we go to meditation today. And as we remember something profound, whether we feel the ability to sit or not, we're still connected to Source. We're still one with God, and we're still deeply secure in that. The performance doesn't change that knowing. I am and you are deeply secure in God. Whether our body, our nervous system has settled or not, we place no judgment on it. We just remember the truth. As we breathe, our heart beats, we are connected to something that is so secure and cannot be shaken. Allow that to be the reality that you feel right now. Non-judgment, connection to Source, and a deep sense of security. So let's do that right now, shall we? Let's go ahead and bring our feet to the floor. Whether we're seated upright in a chair, on our sofa, but just seated upright. Again, the ability to sit is being demonstrated by your feet on the floor right now. Our mind can wander. We place no judgment on it. We just come back to the awareness of where our body is. Our feet are on the floor. Our palms are on the tops of our thighs. But just take a second to look around the room and to bring yourself even more present to the now. Right here and right now, we're all here together. Right here and right now, we're all deeply secure in God. Right here and right now, all of our hearts are collectively beating in this security, in this peace, in this knowing. So let's do that. Let's take that awareness, that feeling of connection deep into the center of our being as we release the external focus, the external judgment, the external doubt and worry, closing our eyelids now. The simplicity of allowing the eyelids to close begins the inward focus. The simplicity of closing the eyelids takes our focus to the breath. So let's just do that now. Just notice the breath. And when I say notice the breath, that means we don't judge the breath. We don't assess whether it appears to be deep or appears to be shallow or anywhere in between. We are just in gratitude that we have the breath. We have connection. We have security in God. Beautiful, everyone. I love the energy that I'm feeling, the relaxation that is here, the non-judgment that has been released. So let's take our focus of attention now deep into the low belly. And where our focus of attention goes, our breath goes, and our experience of life goes. So let's take it deep into the low belly. We're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4. Relax the jaw, release the breath, sigh it out for 4, and then just sink deeper into the awareness of love's presence for 4. Let's begin. Inhale. Hold for 4. Relax the jaw. Sigh it out. Let the sound be released. That's what you're noticing. Sigh it out. The breath is an exhale. And as the sound trails off, you'll notice that the body wants to relax. we give it just the slightest stability and permission, sinking deeper and deeper. In through the low belly, again, dropping the breath nice and deep, sending it into places in the low belly that you may not have before, just honoring the experience of the body. Hold it there. Relax the jaw. Release the sound. Sigh it out. Sinking deeper and deeper and deeper into the sofa, the chair, into the body, into security. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage. Now we allow the breath to connect, rise, expand the sides of our body. Hold it there. Relax the jaw, sigh it out. And sink deeper and deeper and deeper, right where you are. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, we've expanded the sides. And now let's send that breath. We're focusing only on the breath, sending it to the back and to the front. Hold it there. Relax the jaw now. Release the sound and any tension. Sigh it out. Sinking deeper, finding places to relax a little more. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, now allowing the breath, again focusing on the breath as it rises to the heart chakra. Low, mid, high breath, all connected as one. Hold it there. Relax the jaw, and as you just feel that release and relaxing of the jaw, sigh it out. And letting that energy, that sigh, that sound that just was released, to allow your body to relax, sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, nice pattern all the way up through the heart chakra. Your nervous system likes familiarity, and we've been doing that, connecting each part of the breath. Hold at the top. And relax the jaw, release the sound. Let yourself feel and hear the release as you sigh it out. Sinking deeper, allowing more and more. We're going to slow it down a little more. Breathing in for a count of 6, holding for 6. Relaxing, sighing it out for 6, and then sinking deeper. Finding new places for that idea of relaxation to go, but the feeling of relaxation to be alive in you. Inhaling for 6. Hold for 6. This time closing the lips and exhaling through the nostrils for 6. As you exhale through the nostrils, the shoulders relax. Sink deeper and deeper and deeper. Placing no judgment on our experience, just noticing where it is and honoring it and sending love and breath to anywhere that we feel tense or tight. Scan your body, notice, send breath there. Give yourself permission to relax, even if it's a little bit more. Take a few rounds, inhaling and exhaling through the nostrils, and noticing and sending breath and sending relaxation. Is there any tension in the temples, in the neck, in the shoulders? Again, awareness, not judgment. We send breath there and give it permission to relax even the smallest bit more. Any tension in the hips or the hip sockets? Same thing, send breath, relaxation there. All the way down to the soles of the feet and out the crown of the head. You're deeply rooted physically in the earth, spiritually to God, and allow that energy to rise. Feel the connection on the inhale and the exhale. I will monitor the time. You just take the inward journey. And if the mind wanders, if the body feels unsettled, it is okay. Just come back to the breath, that steady rhythm of breath that has always been available, that security that is represented on the breath, the sense of being held right where you sit. I am deeply secure in God. You are deeply secure in God. We are all deeply secure in God now. With our eyelids still closed, we just notice ourselves from the inside, and we remind ourselves that we gave ourselves permission to experience, even if it's just for a moment, connection, security, and knowing. With our eyelids still closed, we honor the change that has actually happened in our nervous system. by just stopping, even if it's briefly, breathing, reconnecting, settling a little. This isn't about magnitude, it's about connection. We're teaching ourselves to be more connected every time we breathe, release the external world, and go within. Let's begin to come back now, just by noticing our feet on the floor. Maybe you wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe you elongate the breath a little more. Maybe you notice that there's a slight opening somewhere in your being. All of that counts in your experience and connection to the one mind, power, and presence, and to feeling deeply secure in God. Let us begin now by planting the palms on the tops of the thighs and inhaling, drawing the shoulders up by the ears, nice and slow. Again, we're animating the body. We're not rushing it. Exhale, releasing the shoulder blades back and nice and easy down. Inhale up, following the path of breath, the path of movement, the realization of peace. Shoulder blades back and down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale as we release the shoulder blades back and down. Just pause for a second. Notice how that feels as the heart moves forward. The shoulder blades move back. That security and that confidence in God being expressed, releasing them down. One more time because it feels good. Inhale up. Exhale, releasing the shoulder blades back and down, heart forward, back supported, releasing them down. Bring palms together at heart center. And if you are able, nice and easy, bow the chin towards the fingertips. No forcing, no strain. Allow the eyelids to gently open. Again, soft gaze, no strain. Finding a focal point, something you're familiar with on the floor. The floor itself is familiar. Inhale, raise the chin, raise the gaze, release the breath. Maintain the security and the peace. Namaste.
We are deeply secure in God. Thank you, PY.
You're welcome.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, it is the fourth Sunday, and so it is Healing Sunday. And if you're just joining us, Healing Sunday is the point in our month that we take time out to speak the word of faith around healing of any kind, because we recognize that healing is our birthright. We recognize that healing is absolutely possible for you, for each and every one of us. And so we dare to affirm that truth. And one of the interesting things is, of course, as we have been doing this, there have been so many profound shares and prosperity reports around healing. And we encourage you to send those in. As you see there on your screen, send in your prosperity reports of healing to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. The other beautiful thing that happens is wherever there are those, whatever space is affirming healing and believing and knowing healing, people will find their way to it. And so we have a lot of names for this Sunday, and that excites me because it's a recognition that knowingly and unknowingly, each of these souls are attracted by law to the space where healing is happening, healing is being affirmed, healing is being talked about, because there unfortunately aren't enough spaces, I think, that are affirming and speaking these truths. So today, I want to share with you all a prosperity report that was shared in the CSC Live group, which is awesome. And then I also want to break this down a little bit, but then I also want to talk a little bit. I got to give you a little sermonette on healing, because I think it'll help you and support you as we move into the prayer. So this prosperity report is awesome, right? I'm excited to share a beautiful, miraculous prosperity report. My child has been dealing with some health issues, and after seeing the pediatrician, he was diagnosed with a cardiac condition that would require heart surgery and sent us to a specialist. When this happened, I felt the fear. And for several months, as I tried to make the appointments, there were a lot of blocks. Appointments weren't available, insurance issues, etc. Nothing was going right. I realized that I was sitting in a place of fear, worry, and anxiety, and stopped. I then began praying affirmatively over the medical paperwork, my son, and the situation, declaring divine health and divine sublime order, and being diligent with my thoughts. My steadiness, faith, and trust returned, and I continued to affirm health and order. Within the week of this shift inside me, the insurance issues were cleaned up, and an appointment with a pediatric cardiologist became available yesterday, where the doctor declared that the previous diagnosis was incorrect, and my little one's heart is healthy and strong. He will require some very gentle, very easy treatment that I can do at home with him. I am beyond grateful and celebrating. I feel like we've been given a new lease on life. I am so grateful. I am so prosperous. Mm-hmm. Now, first, I want to break this down because there's some powerful things here, right? And often we can read these, we can hear these things like, oh, yeah, that's awesome, rah, 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 prosperity report, or oh, they're special, oh, they must have something I don't have. Mm-hmm. Right? So first, there's the recognition, and as parents, I'm sure we've all experienced this, right? That you find out something, you get some information from a doctor, particularly if your child has to have surgery. I remember when Malcolm had to have surgery, wee little Malcolm, right? And there's a feeling as a parent you can't really describe, but you don't want to see this little soul, being put under anesthesia and all of the things, right? And out of that fear, out of that worry, out of that concern, right? We read that they were trying to make appointments and things weren't working out, and there were insurance issues and there weren't, appointments available. And so here's the first miracle. I realized that I was sitting in a place of fear, worry, and anxiety and stopped. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's the first thing. The recognition, the awareness, and then stopping, right? Disrupting and interrupting. So then how do we interrupt it, right? Oh, I went to my tools. I began to speak the word. I began praying affirmatively over the medical paperwork, my son, and the situation, declaring divine health and divine sublime order, and being diligent with my thoughts. That's the other thing. Sometimes we just affirming and declaring, but then we still, after that affirming and declaring time or your daily spiritual practice, then you're still out in the world, mm-hmm. living all them old thoughts, mm-hmm. right? Being diligent with my thoughts. And then feeling is the first manifestation. My steadiness, faith, and trust returned. Mm-hmm. Another miracle, right? That's the first manifestation. A lot of times we get that feeling, but we're like, but I don't see it. I don't see it. So then we're affirming the conviction of absence. But affirming the conviction of presence is recognizing that, oh, wait a minute. My steadiness, my faith, my trust is returned. I feel a sense of groundedness. And then here's the other part. And continued to affirm health and order. Right? We just don't stop, right? We continue. And so then within the week of this shift inside me, as within, so without, right? It happens within. The shift must happen within. A changed consciousness is what prayer is all about, changing our consciousness so that we can experience a change externally. And then beautifully, what happens? Insurance issues were cleaned up. What happens? An appointment was easily available. And then what happened? It was a misdiagnosis. That beautiful soul is just fine. No surgery needed. Now, we don't know if in that process, if his heart was transformed and the surgery was no longer needed. We don't know if it actually was a misdiagnosis from the beginning. The powerful thing is the shift happened. And because the shift happened, then something had to happen in the world of matter. Something had to happen in the external. And so it did. Right? So this is a powerful, powerful prosperity report, and it reminds us how it works. And again, you may hear something like this and think, oh, well, they're special. Oh, well, they must have something I don't have. They must have a faith I don't have. They must have been practicing these teachings for so long. And none of that is required. And so the thing that I was thinking about related to healing today is a principle that's important for us to understand. It's the principle that it is done unto you according to your belief. And that's good news for a bunch of reasons. One, because sometimes what it is that you want to be, do, or have in the world and in your life, nobody else believes it, right? Other people might think it's not possible for you or not possible at all. Thankfully, it is only done unto us according to our belief, right? So it doesn't require anyone else's belief. It doesn't require anyone else to co-sign it, all of those things. That's wonderful. There's also the recognition it is done unto us as we believe that we must believe. If you look at all of the stories of healing as it relates to Jesus, as we read in the Second Testament, those are the accounts that are given to us. So often, as in the story of the two men whose sight was returned, Jesus asked a question, do you believe that you will be made well? And the two men said, yes. That's important because it tells us that it was not by the might or power of Jesus. It wasn't that Jesus was some magnificent healer, right? But it's that something about Jesus and that which he taught and the ways that he worked in the world helped to inspire and ignite the belief in those who were attracted to him. And it was because of their belief, out of their belief, that they were made well, that they were made whole, right? The woman, the story as it's named, the woman with the issue of blood, just touched the hem of his garment. That was rooted in, there was a belief within her that all I have to do is just get close enough. I don't even have to have a conversation. I believe so strongly that healing is possible that if I just touch the very end of his robe, I will be made well. And so that is exactly what happened. And so for those of you that are here seeking healing and desiring healing, I pose that question to you today. Do you believe that you can and will be made well? Do you believe that you can and will be made whole? And for many of you, and by all means, you can, comment in the chat and shout out with a yes, yes. For many of you, you do believe. That's why you're here, right? For many of you, you do believe. That's why you submitted your name. And if you weren't able to submit your name, you can pop your name in the comments today, right now. But there are some of you that you may realize, well, I kind of believe. I don't really believe. I don't know. This thing is really loud. This thing is really strong. I'm in pain right now. I have a cast on right now, right? I just got out of the hospital yesterday, right? I'm looking at all of the prescriptions and pills that are sitting on my counter that I need to take, right? So I want to believe, but that you may have a recognition that it's difficult to believe right now, and that's okay.
Perfectly okay.
And so I want to give you a little secret, right? I want to give you something to help you. Because while you may not be able to fully believe right now, and you can honor that and accept that, there's nothing wrong with that, I have a question for you. Do you believe that I believe that you can be made well? Do you believe, just think about it, do you believe that PG believes that this is possible? One, would I be here streaming all over the globe, praying prayers internationally if I didn't believe? But just check in, like, do you believe PG believes? And if you do, that's actually enough, right? It's not believing in me, because it's not by my might, it's not by my power, it's not by my intellect, it's not by what I've read, it's not by what I've studied, it's not by virtue of being a pastor and being an ordained minister, right? I'm not asking you to believe in me, but I'm asking you to use your power of belief in a specific way. Do you believe PG believes? And if you do, if you can say yes, that's enough. Because you're placing the focus of your attention in the direction of that which is wanted. You recognize that in this moment, right, because of all the things that are present in your life, because of, again, you may be in pain right now, you may have come from the hospital just recently, right? All of these things, and I recognize that would challenge your belief. Mm-hmm. So we're going to use your belief in a specific way. We're going to direct it in a space that you can believe, because it is done unto you what? According to your belief. So if you believe that I believe, that's what we're going to make use of today. And I learned that principle as a child. I had injured myself, I believe it was a sprain. I was about 6 or 7 years old. And my father asked me if I wanted prayer. And I said yes, because I believed, right? Little holiness child, right? We've been raised to believe in the power of healing and the power of prayer. I believed. After the prayer, the pain went away. Well, some weeks went by, and my dad called me one day, in the house, and he was like, I want you to go with me. We're going to see your Uncle Wendell. And I was like, okay, I love seeing my Uncle Wendell. I could see my Aunt Linda, who I absolutely loved, and get some good food or whatever. And so we took a ride over to their house. And my my dad, he didn't tell me anything about what was going to happen. He just said, tell Uncle Wendell about your ankle, your foot. And so I told him, I was like, oh yeah, I was out playing, hurt my foot. Daddy prayed for me, and the pain went away. I was great. I've been great. I haven't felt nothing, nothing. Pain has come back. What I didn't know was that my Uncle Wendell had just been diagnosed with gout. And so what my dad did was use this same principle, right? Uncle Wendell didn't need to believe in the Bible or whatever, or any of these other things, right? But he had an experience, my belief as a child, believing that I could be healed. And then him hearing that story, that's what ignited his belief in the possibility. Mm-hmm. My dad prayed. My Uncle Wendell was healed of gout without any other intervention. And that's where I first got a taste of that principle. And of course, as I've moved on and of course, embraced New Thought as a philosophy, I understand even more about how it works and why it worked. So this is how I encourage you to use your belief, pointing it in that direction. I believe that PG believes, and that's enough. And so I'm going to speak the names of those that have been submitted for today's prayer, the names and location. And again, if you have not submitted a name, or a name is coming to you now, you can post it now here in the stream. You can post your name as well as I read these names. Billy, Orlando, Florida. Aaron, DeLand, Florida. Andy, Orlando, Florida. The Orange County Government Youth Services, Orlando, Florida. Jessica, DeLand, Florida. Jaden, DeLand, Florida. Rachel in Utah. Harold Phillips, Atlanta, Georgia. Keturah Johnson, Amaya Tempest, Bishop Safran in Pittsburgh, PA. Tanya Thomas, South Carolina. Brianna Blocker, South Carolina. Johnny and Eve Thomas, South Carolina. Kayla Brown, South Carolina. Veronica Correa, Brooklyn, New York. Kimberly Spidel, or Spidel, I hope, forgive me please with pronunciations, Georgia. Leslie Thomas, Georgia. Devontae Blocker, Hawaii. Harold Murrell, Harold Murrell Jr., Wilmington, North Carolina. DeAsia Murrell, High Point, North Carolina. Charla Murrell, Washington, D.C. Geraldine Hogans, Jonesboro. Rosa Lee Smith, Brooklyn, New York. Esquivel Rosario, Ontario, Canada. Dwayne Hollinger, Parlin, New Jersey. Estella Barton, Miami, Florida. Zachary Howell, Skokie, I believe, Illinois. Tabitha Howell, Des Plaines. Brittany and Demetrius Howell, Des Plaines. Carissa and Kiana Howell, Des Plaines. Cameron Howell, Des Plaines. Tabitha Howell, Chicago, Illinois. Pam Stoddard in the U.S. Arthur and Sharon Beckett, Denver, Colorado. Alfred Thomas, Detroit, Michigan. Robert Johnson, Detroit, Michigan. Linda Polly, Flint, Michigan. Michael Wright, Detroit, Michigan. Lucretia West, Ypsilanti, Michigan. Alyssa West, Ypsilanti, Michigan. Loretta Woods, San Diego, California. Angela McTair, New York, New York. Tatiana Ferrero Puerta, New York. Darnella Parks, Baltimore, Maryland. Diana Colon, Brooklyn, New York. Charlie King Colon, Brooklyn, New York. Isabel Colon Nocera, Long Island, New York. Carmen Nelly Ayala, Texas. Gloria Colon, Texas. Andrea Hernandez, Long Island, New York. Anthony Hernandez, Long Island, New York. Darius Nocera, Long Island, New York. Tristan Ayala, Texas. Mylene Ayala, Texas. Daniel Ayala, Texas. Francis Lawson, New York. Michelle Stevens Davis, Richmond, Virginia. Paulette Tabb, Brooklyn, New York. Ophelia Oden, Riverview, Florida. Emily Johnson, Detroit. Sydney King, Brooklyn, New York. Michael Banks, Harlem, New York. Amia Nelson Cosby, Richmond, Virginia. Imhotep Nelson Mason Showert, Brooklyn, New York. Nasira, Miriam, and James Stewart, Chicago, Illinois. Dawn Goldberg, Valley Stream, New York. Jada Pearman, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Dominique Rankin, Stockbridge, Georgia. Kenneth Attinen, Ramseur, North Carolina. And Daisy Johnson, Detroit, Michigan. And I see that there are more names that have been coming in and coming in and coming in. And so as they are here, they have been spoken and we acknowledge them. And so I invite each and every one of you, those that are seeking healing as your name has been named, or you are here in the space and your name has been posted, I invite you to move into a receptive mode, holding your hands open to receive. And for those that are choosing to stand in that knowing, standing to add your belief to my belief and my belief to your belief and others' beliefs, I invite you to rub your hands together right here and right now, developing some energy until you feel some warmth. And I want you to hold your hands out forward towards the screen, however you're watching, whether it's on your phone, your laptop, your TV, a tablet. Hold out and send that energy forward. And I invite everyone right here and right now to close your eyes. And of course, we close our eyes so that we can see something better. We close our eyes so that we can see the Spirit. We close our eyes so that we can see what is beyond what our five senses show us. And with our eyes closed, I invite you now to bring the focus of your attention here and now by taking a conscious breath in. And we release that breath. We are here now. We are here now, and we breathe in and we breathe out. We are here now. We are here now. The past is gone. The future is yet to come. We are here now. We breathe in. And we breathe out. There is, right here and right now, in truth, always, only one mind, one power, one presence that is working in all, through all, and as all. That one mind, that one power, that one presence, that one life, it is Mother, Father, God. That one life is my life now. That one life is your life now. That one life is the life of every soul that was named and has been named here in this live stream. That one life is the life of God, and it is the life of all. It is the life of all at every vantage point. It is the life of all from every perspective. It is the life of all at the cellular, molecular, and quantum level of life. And it is the life of all at the oceanic and astronomical layers of life. Yes, it is the life of every galaxy. Yes, it is the life of every planet. It is the life of every moon, every sun, every star. It is the life of you, it is the life of me, it is the life of every mountain, the sun, the sea, it is the life of the river, of the tree, it is the life of the honeybee, it is the life of the housefly, it is the life of frogs, it is the life of fish, it is the life of lions, it is the life of jaguars and leopards, it is the life of all. And most importantly, from our awareness here and now, it is your life now, and it is my life now. We breathe in that reality that the life of God is mine. The life of God is yours. For we recognize that God is omnipresent. God is everywhere at all times, constantly encountered. God is everyone and everything. There is no spot where God is not, and neither comes nor goes. And as we are putting the focus of attention on healing right here and right now, the healing power and presence of God neither comes nor goes. The healing power and presence of God is always here and always now. We breathe in healing, we breathe out healing. We breathe in this recognition that healing is here and now. We breathe out that recognition that healing is here and now. And as we have established the truth that God is and God is now, that God is the one mind, power, presence, wisdom, intelligence, source, substance, supply, the good, and is constantly encountered, I establish in my heart and mind, I establish in your heart and mind right here and right now that we are one with God. You are one with God. God is one with you. You are one with God. God is you. I am one with God. God is one with me. I am one with God. God is me. For the truth is, we are never separate from our source. The truth is, we are individualized, particularized, unique, and undivided expressions of life, of God, of consciousness, of spirit, whatever name feels good to you, whatever name is affirmative for you. We are unified with the good and can never be separate from it. Our outer eyes show us variety. Our inner eye shows us unity. Our outer eye shows us multiplicity. Our inner eye shows us harmony. So right here and right now, as we harmonize our heart and mind with the reality of reality, as we harmonize our heart and mind with the truth of our oneness that has never, ever changed, I declare right here and right now that we remain as God created us. I declare right here and right now that there is a perfect blueprint for each and every one of us, of each and every one of us, that has never been hurt, harmed, or destroyed. There is a perfect blueprint of each and every one of us that has never been sick, that has never suffered, that has never experienced pain or deterioration in any form, in any way. And we put our hearts and our minds there now. As we choose to see something better, as we choose to see in the spirit, we put our hearts and our minds on that which is perfect, that which is whole and complete, which is us. For spirit is perfect, whole, and complete, and you are one with spirit, and spirit is one with you. If spirit is perfect, whole, and complete, then you must be perfect, whole, and complete. So right here and right now, I loose the world of all I thought it was. And I declare that my mind holds only what I think with God. I remember and recognize that as I loose the world of all that I thought it was, I no longer accuse you of being sick. I no longer accuse you of being weak. I no longer accuse you of being in pain or being deteriorated in any way, because I cannot accuse the spirit of being that. And you are spirit in form. Right here and right now, I see only the spirit that you are. Right here and right now, I see only the wholeness that you are. Right here and right now, I see only the perfection, the beauty, the brilliance that you are. Right here and right now, I only see order working in, through, and as your physical body, or order working in, through, and as your mind, order working in, through, and as your cellular being, order working in, through, and as every organ within your body, within your being, order operating in, through, and as your finances, order operating in, through, and as your relationships. And as I see that, I then see only healing. I see only radiant health in every area of your life. Right here and right now, just as Jesus, aka the truth, spoke to Lazarus and said, "Come forth." So I, not by the power of my might, not by the power of my strength or the power of my intellect, but speaking and thinking from the soul, from my soul to your soul, I now say, "Come forth." From my soul to your soul, I now say, "Come forth as perfect health." From wholeness to wholeness, from mind to mind, from spirit to spirit, I now say, "Come forth as a restored spine." I now say, "Come forth as perfect sight." I now say, "Come forth as a pain-free body." I now say, "Come forth as memory restored." I now say, "Come forth as joy." I now say, "Come forth as new action and activity in your limbs." I now say, "Come forth as regenerated organs." I now say, "Come forth as regenerated cells." I now say, "Come forth as those genes within you that are turning on and tuned in to perfect wholeness and are turning off those things that lead to degeneration and dis-ease." I speak the word from my soul to your soul, and I say, "Come forth." Come forth and show forth your brilliance. Come forth and show forth your healed, happy, whole self. Come forth as being that is aware, awake, and alive. Come forth as order. Come forth as orderliness. Come forth. Right here and right now, we accept healing. Right here and right now, we permit healing. Right here and right now, we recognize that as we are one with the Spirit, all that the Spirit is who and what we are. All that the Spirit is who and what you are. Come forth. All that God is who and what you are. Come forth. And I am grateful and thankful, for I see you happy, healthy, healed, and whole. I am so grateful and thankful, for I see your radiant beingness radiating out in the manifested world. I am so grateful and thankful for your belief and the acceptance of belief that has healed your entire being. Walk now free. Walk now liberated. Walk now worthy. Walk now in wholeness. And so it is from this place of awareness that I release the prayer, releasing it back into the law that is always in operation, knowing that it is the law that does the work, knowing that it is the power and presence of God that does the work and not I or you. We let it be, we let it be, we let it be. From this place of beingness, we say amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is, and so it must be. Yes, yes. Well, of course, we encourage you to come back to this prayer at any point in time. Share it with those that are in need of this vibration and this absolute knowing it is done. And so, of course, as we are continuing to move forward in our sermon series, Tell the Truth, the Science of Spirit and How to Use It, we will continue to tell the truth in this second part of the series, and we'll be closing out the second part today. But before we get into the message, we got to get into the music. So we're going to hear from Soul 21, and then I'll be with you on the other side with today's sermon, Judge from the Self. I'll see you on the other side. There is a foundational truth that we teach and we affirm and we repeat over and over again in this teaching we call New Thought. That what we know as God, what we refer to as God, is it is omnipresent. And when we say that it's omnipresent, what I like to say is that God is constantly encountered. If we are deep in the valley of depression, anxiety, or problems, source is right there. If we are in the joy and elation of some good news, source is there. And that's important because particularly when we are experiencing things that are unwanted, it appears that God couldn't be there. But it's because God is everywhere present that we're able to shift any circumstance or any situation. And so, as I was reflecting on that and this idea of the omnipresence of God, there is no spot where God is not, I just began to think about all of the ways and places that I find this thing called God. And one of the easiest places that we can go to find the divine is through our breath. Every time you breathe in, you are literally breathing in God. Every time you breathe out, you are literally breathing out God. And as I began to contemplate that, this song came. And so we're going to affirm this truth that we always find God. We always find God. From the simplest place of breathing to the rivers, the seas, the mountains, the trees, I always find you. With every breath that I breathe, I always find you. I always find you. In the rhythm my heart beats, I always find you. I always find you. Find you. Find you, I always find you, oh find you, I always find you, with every breath. With every breath that I breathe, I always find you, I always find you. My heartbeat, I always find. I always find. I always find. I always find. Put your hand on your heart and feel God. Find you. Find you. Find you. Find you. Find you. Every breath I breathe, in the rhythm of my heart, I always find you. In the beauty of the trees, I always find. I always find you. I always find. I always find you. In the rivers and the seas. In the rivers and the seas. I always find. I always find you. I always find you. I find you. Find you. In the beauty of the trees. Find you. In the rivers and the seas. Find you. I always find you. Find you. Oh, find you. Find you. Always. I always find you. Colors of humanity. Colors of humanity. I always find you. I always look around the room. Look around the room. Look at the beautiful tapestry. Red and yellow, blue and green, yeah. Blue and green. I always find you. Find you. We find you. Colors of humanity. Every person that I see. Within a mirror, I see looking back at me. Find you. Oh, find Yes, yes. Find you. I always find you. God is omnipresence, constantly encountered everyone and everything, everywhere at all times. There is no spot where good is not. I love that song so much. Yes, yes. Well, hello, beautiful people. Happy Sunday. It is so good to be here with you, and it is good wherever you are, whatever time it may be, where you are. I know that is good, and I'm happy to be here with each and every one of you on this Healing Sunday. I would love for you to join me in our centering prayer. Please repeat these words after me, and we will use this prayer to take us into the message. I welcome the Spirit of truth into my mind and let it grow in my heart. Thank you, God, in, through, and as me. Amen. Ashe. And so it is. So it is. Well, today we are rounding up part 2 of our 3-part series, Tell the Truth, the Science of Spirit, and How to Use It. And so in week 1 of this month, we started with Extraordinary Trust. In week 2, Reality is Different. Last week, See the Spirit. This is beginning as we move into the second half, the second or the final 6 lessons, right? The first half was focused on the self, our self-realization of the power and presence of God operating in, through, and as us. And now we're moving into starting to how do we interact with the world, our world, and use this truth, tell the truth, and speak the truth in very specific ways. So See the Spirit was that first part, right? That we have to, out of that realization that we have developed using lessons 1 through 6, now we must see the Spirit in, through, and as all things. And I provided some very practical ways that you can start to do that in a very three-step process. Now, lesson 5 was surrender. Lesson 6 was understanding. And then lesson 7 last week was see the Spirit. So today we're on lesson 8. And lesson 8 is very simple. Be not deceived. And so if you're taking notes, write that down. Lesson 8, be not deceived. Now, in 2024, I taught a sermon series, God Trauma, Lessons from the Book of Job. It was a very powerful and impactful series because I really took a lot of time to really break down what the book of Job is really all about. And we used the hermeneutic, or the lens that we used to look at that text, was trauma informed, right? Which is very important because that's really one of the only ways you can truly understand the text. So that's why the series is called God Trauma, Lessons from the Book of Job. And for those that were able to experience that series, you may remember that I explained that the writer of Job wrote that story as a critique. The writer of Job wrote that story as a critique of a God who rewards obedience and punishes disobedience. And of course, this is the God that Job's friends believed in, which is why they kept trying to suggest to him through their wonderful soliloquies. And of course, the writer was being very poetic and dramatic in the way that the writer presents the story. But essentially, they were saying, Job, you must have done something wrong, because this is, God doesn't afflict people unless there's some punishment. And then the other side, they believe that God rewards those that are sinless and do well. But what the writer of Job is saying, that this is not who God is, and this is not how God operates. Because the writer of Job was from a community and was writing to their community that had experienced and was experiencing great suffering. And the writer wanted those in their community to understand that this is not who God is. This is not how God operates. And that's huge, right? There's so it's not just huge, it's liberating, right? To come to that understanding. And so for those, if you haven't watched that series, it's available on our YouTube channel. Check out the playlist and move through the lessons, because they're, again, very powerful, very impactful. And so a proper reading of the book of Job leads to lesson 8, be not deceived. Because much of our collective world has been created based on a God that does not exist. This world has been created based on misinformation, misconceptions, and false beliefs. And these misconceptions inevitably then create a world that engenders fear, brings pain, suffering, and calamities of all kind. But this is not the real world. This is not capital R reality. Remember, lesson 2, denials. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. A Course in Miracles. The world which can be threatened is based on a God that does not exist. The world which can be threatened is created from this deception. Now, in scientific Christian mental practice, in this lesson, Emma Curtis Hopkins, of course, says and writes a lot of things, but very succinctly, she writes, spirit never deceives, only matter deceives. And what does she mean when she says that? Only matter deceives, right? Well, lesson 8 picks up directly from lesson 7. Lesson 7 says, see the spirit, as I said earlier. And I said in the sermon last week, see the spirit in, through, and as all things. That's the opportunity. Now that you've affirmed the statement of good, now that you've affirmed the conviction of presence by using the denials, right? Now that you have moved through that process and have a firm mind of the truth, right? Now it's important that you see the spirit in, through, and as all things, even when your eyes show you something different. So then you let this realization be your eyes. You let this realization be your filter. You let this realization be your reality. So lesson 8 then expands on this by reminding you that your 5 senses, at best, only give you a partial view of what is real. Lesson 8 invites you to move beyond physical or material sense to your non-physical or spiritual sense. Lesson 8 invites you to remind your mind that information received or gathered via your physical senses will steer you in the wrong direction time and time again. Lesson 8 invites you to judge your world and the world from the self, capital S, self. And I invite you to consider this for a moment, right? Maybe you haven't really thought about how unreliable your physical senses are, right? This is one thing that the legal world knows. It's one of the reasons why eyewitness accounts are easily and quickly debunked, because humans can't remember how a sequence of events, and you never tell the story the same way each time. And so the more and more that eyewitness tells the story, they're going to tell it differently, which then suggests, did they really see what they saw, or are they really changing the story? Also, their vantage point is limited, right? And that can be pointed out in a number of ways. And so it's interesting to think about that, because we would think that an eyewitness account, that person saw it. That's exactly what it should be. In my work in human rights and working with witness, which is all about using technology to advance human rights, and one of the big things is supporting folks in filming harm, right? Filming what's going on, right? And so, of course, in this day and age, everybody's filming the police, right? Everybody's filming what's going on. When something happens, people don't call for help. They pull out their phones and start filming it, which is not always a good thing. But what we know clearly, and what we see even with body cam footage that's placed on police, because people thought that was the answer, it does not give all of the information. It does not show everything. It is not fact. Right? And much of this can be easily debunked. So we recognize that what we see, right, with our 5 senses, and see, and what we can hear, what we can taste, what we can touch, Maybe it gives us some information. Maybe it gives us a partial view. But we know from our own lives and from the collective world that many times that information will steer us in the wrong direction time and time again. And so you are being invited now to judge your world and the world from the vantage point of the self, not from the vantage point of your physical senses. And so I'm reminded of the first 13 lessons in A Course in Miracles, the lesson workbook, because these lessons are essentially saying you're deceived. Lesson 8 is saying, be not deceived. Well, the opening lessons in the workbook of A Course in Miracles are trying to get you to understand that there is a deception, right? It's trying to get you to understand that you're living, thinking, acting, praying, loving, and giving from this point of view of deception. And it is reminding you and demonstrating to you that living this way is causing you to suffer. I'm not going to read all the lessons and I can't teach all the lessons, but I know many of you are very familiar with the lessons as we teach them here at CSC, and many of you have taken Course in Miracles classes with PY, or you've studied on your own or with others, right? Nothing I see means anything. I've given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. I am never upset for the reason I think. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. That lesson is telling you, be not deceived. Or better yet, you are deceived. You see nothing as it is now, which means you're deceived. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. And a meaningless world engenders fear. And so these lessons are telling us that the way that we are seeing the world, the way in which we are naming the world and our world, ultimately leads to fear, ultimately leads to pain, ultimately leads to suffering, ultimately leads to unwanted outcomes, ultimately leads to disappointment, ultimately leads to resentment, ultimately leads to burnout. The lessons are designed to get you to see and embrace that you are deceived, but not because of Adam and Eve, not because of a snake or an apple. You're deceived because it is the very nature of living in the field of time and space. And particularly, it is it's the very nature of living in time and space when we think that time and space is the cause and effect, when we think that time and space is the place of power. And so what has happened is we are taught to live externally focused, which then has cut us off from where our power actually is, from the realm of cause, which is the spiritual level. And that's not actually a radical thought or a radical concept. We have airplanes all over the planet. Airplanes did not exist until they were thought of. They had to be conceived in mind in order for them to ever exist out here in the world, which then suggests to me, at least, that then the realm of cause is the unseen, that true power is actually in the unseen, not the seen, not the visible. And so when we are operating as though time and space, as operating as though the visible world, that which we can see, taste, touch, and smell, is the place of power, we are then deceived. Again, not because of Adam and Eve, not because of a snake or a tree, an apple. It's the nature of time, space, reality. And we have the ability to return to reality and live, act from, think from, speak, give from that awareness, the inner awareness, and impact the outer world. And so when I say that the field of time and space, that is matter, right? So when Emma Curtis Hopkins says only a spirit never deceives, only matter deceives, that's what I'm talking about. This world of time and space, that is the world or matter. That will always deceive. It deceives first because the world of matter will lead you to believe that you don't have power. The world of matter will lead you to believe that certain things are fixed. The world of matter will lead you to believe that some people are lucky and fortunate and other people are unlucky and unfortunate. The world of matter will lead you to believe that some people are special and other people aren't special. The world of matter will lead you to believe that some people are smart and some people aren't smart. The world of matter will lead you to believe that some people are just more talented, and so that's why they're blessed, right? And others are just simply untalented, right? And so they don't get to experience the joys of life. But then wonderfully enough, in A Course in Miracles, after those 13 lessons, lesson 14 starts to introduce a new idea. God did not create a meaningless world. And God is the self. This is then the awareness and perspective that you must judge your world and the world about you from. Hold on, I'm going to fix the camera. I see I'm out of focus. There we go. Awesome. God is the self, right? And so this is the awareness then. When I say judge from the self, this is the awareness and perspective that you must judge your world and the world about you. And of course, the judgment that you make is the truth of your life. That's what you will see, because that's the meaning that you've given it. In the Miracle Minded series, you may remember that I shared this quote with you from Dr. Tony Nader, consciousness is all there is. He says very clearly, nothing different from consciousness emerges from consciousness. We could say nothing different from God emerges from God. Nothing different from spirit emerges from spirit. Nothing different than the divine emerges from the divine. And so then we understand that consciousness, God, spirit, the divine, has two fundamental aspects to its nature. And this is part of why we get confused. Because the one aspect of its nature is oneness. It is self-referential, right? And so this is why the Hebrew word Yahweh means self-existing one. Right? That's what the highest reality is. God is self-existing, self-referential. And out of that self-referencing, it is one, it is one, it is one. But the second aspect of consciousness is multiplicity. And this is described as divided awareness, right? And what that means simply is that at the same time that it is one, it also demonstrates and manifests in variety, multiplicity. And so we get confused because we see the variety, we see the multiplicity, and we think it is separate. But nothing different from consciousness, nothing different from the divine emerges from the divine. Consciousness, God, spirit, the divine is all there is. Dr. Tony Nader goes further to make it very clear in the text, and he says this: all physical, material, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual phenomena, anywhere, things that happen out in the world of matter, are manifestations of consciousness. Physical, material, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual are manifestations of consciousness, are manifestations of the divine. They are the various perspectives of consciousness getting to know itself from different points of view. And so this is one of the reasons why the healing that happens from the Job story is very important. And again, if you have not experienced that series, I invite you to go through that process because it brings you to the same point, right? This is one of the, it is a wisdom text. And from the wisdom school, they had a very specific perspective on the nature and reality of God that aligns with the consciousness theory that I'm sharing with you right here and right now. And so there's a recognition that God operates in a way and at a level that is not in alignment with our time-space reality view of the world, right? Here in our time-space reality, we have duality. Here in our time-space reality, there's good and there's bad. Right? Here in our time-space reality, there's up and there's down, right? So we view God through that lens as though God must be comparatively good compared to bad, right? And so then that's why then we create another being called the devil to counter a God that does not exist. right? So what we recognize then is that if indeed, and it is true, that all manifestations are manifestations of consciousness, there are various perspectives of consciousness getting to know itself from different points of view, we recognize then that God doesn't operate at the simplistic levels of good and bad and morality that we have tried to ascribe to God, right? Therefore, again, that's a God that does not exist. And so the moment that you think or act as though you're interacting with anything other than God, consciousness, spirit, you then are deceived, right? You're operating from a place of deception, and that deception will lead to unwanted outcomes, not as a punishment, but as the only logical outcome of a belief in separation. So you're not being punished, neither are you being rewarded. But as soon as you believe that you're separate from power, I mean, imagine, right? Imagine if you were an iPhone and your battery was running low. And as this iPhone, right, that can think, talk, and speak, right, we're anthropomorphizing, you're like, well, I don't have access. I can't plug in. I don't have a charger. All the chargers are broken and there are no outlets where I am. There's nothing I can do. I'm separate from my source. I'm separate from power. Woe is me. Oh no. And so inevitably the logical outcome as that iPhone is like, I'm separate from power. I can't plug in anywhere. That iPhone is going to, ultimately the battery is going to run out and it's not going to it's not going to have a charge. It won't turn on. It can't function and operate. But imagine if you're looking at that iPhone, talking to that iPhone, and you're like, hey, iPhone, there are plugs everywhere. There are cables everywhere, right? You can plug in. But as long as they believe that, they're never going to look for a place to plug in. They're never going to think about asking somebody, is there a place to plug in? Because they're separate. They believe they're separate. They believe they have no place to plug in. And so while that's a simplistic and kind of crude analogy, this is what happens. Again, it's the logical outcome of a belief in separation. It's not a punishment, right? The iPhone is not being punished. But if it doesn't plug in, it can't receive a charge. That's all. That's just a logical outcome. Electricity isn't mad at the iPhone. Electricity isn't withholding good from the iPhone. But the phone must plug in. And so understanding that, then we recognize then that those outcomes that are unwanted will change when the belief has changed. Remember last week, I highlighted this idea from A Course in Miracles that we do not simply change our minds, right? So often it's like, oh, think a new thought. Oh, okay, well, I'm thinking a new thought, but nothing has changed. You have to actually change the source of your ideas. If the iPhone just plugged into, the dirt, it wouldn't receive a charge. Right? It has to change the source. And so when we change the very source of ideas, that's then when the change happens. Take the metaphor of the Adam and Eve story. Right? The apple comes from, according to this allegorical, wonderful story, it comes from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Another way to just say that is the tree of duality. And so the tree is the tree of separation. It's the tree of duality. It's the tree of deception. And so the story was trying to teach us and tell us what A Course in Miracles is trying to teach and tell us. This idea of you believe in separation, that's the ultimate deception, and there's a remedy, right? And so naturally, if one eats a piece of fruit from the tree that is the tree of duality, that's what they will experience, right? I mean, that makes sense, right? If I eat of an orange tree, I'm going to experience, right, what oranges are, right? If I pull a grapefruit, I'm going to experience what a grapefruit is. If I pull a lemon, right, from a lemon tree, I'm going to experience all of the lemon consciousness. I can't experience apple consciousness from a lemon tree. So that tree, that fruit, can only be what it is. It can only provide what it is. It's the tree of duality. So then in order to change the outcome, one would have to eat of a different tree. Yes, yes, a different apple or just a completely different tree. Now, unfortunately, the story, this story, as it's written and codified in the second creation story, it leaves us with the impression that the tree of life is inaccessible and unattainable. But the good news is that the science of spirit is the tree of life, that the science of spirit is the other fruit, and the science of spirit is present within you because the spirit itself is present as you. So I think that's the other part where, as folks have literally read that story, and it's like, oh, well, they said they didn't let Adam and Eve eat of the other tree because they'll become like us. Well, but you already are like us. You are gods, right? That's Bible, by the way, right? I'm not saying something crazy. That's in Psalms. Ye are gods. And so it is important that you become like the divine, right? Become aware of your divine self. And that can only happen by eating of the tree of life. That can only happen by embracing the science of spirit, recognizing that spirit is present as you. So judge not. Judge not according to appearance, as Jesus, aka the truth, admonishes us to do. Judge from the self, because this is righteous judgment. Now, I want to share a little bit of what Emma Curtis Hopkins talks about as we move forward into the conclusion. Because she writes here, I think, something that's helpful. It's like, well, how do I use this, right? Be not deceived. And how do I step into operating from a place of awareness versus deception? And these are the words she writes in Scientific Christian Mental Practice. Spirit is the only substance, which I just affirmed. Thus, humanity is spirit. If humanity or all is spirit, then I am spirit. If spirit cannot be in poverty, I cannot be in poverty. If spirit cannot be burdened, I cannot be burdened. If spirit cannot be sick, I cannot be sick. All these are nothing to spirit, therefore they are nothing to me. I am not deceived by any of them. So what she's demonstrating to us is our language, right? Just as I demonstrated last week by closing with that prayer treatment. What your language begins to sound like and must sound like from this place of awareness, from this place of non-deception. And what you are doing is using your reasoning mind, right? Reasoning out the truth. Wait, well, if this is true of spirit is all there is. Consciousness is all there is. Nothing emerges from consciousness other than consciousness. Nothing emerges from spirit other than spirit. And so if spirit cannot be in poverty, no more will I be in poverty. I cannot be in poverty. If spirit cannot be burdened, no more will I be. I cannot be burdened. And so you begin to reason out. You can write this out. You can speak it out, right? As you are also thinking it out. This is then how you no longer allow yourself to be deceived. She goes on, we worship spirit in all forms and let forms alone. What is she saying? We see the spirit, as we said in lesson 7, right? So we worship spirit in all forms, recognizing that spirit is in, through, and as all things. We bless it, we bless it, we bless it. And we let forms alone. So we're not concerned with the form or the format because it's all consciousness, right? This is how we could quickly get to unity as humanity, right? This is how we could quickly get to true diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? Because we let forms alone, all is spirit, and we honor and bless all, right? We do not try to change them, meaning the forms. They change themselves by our thoughts of spirit. There is a law of setting aside appearances by truth. We learn truth, and we are masters of the law. So this was demonstrated in the prosperity report that I shared before the healing prayer. Instead of trying to change what was going on, instead of trying to fight the insurance companies, instead of trying to beat down the people that to make the appointments, right? We've all been through those frustrations. We know what that's like. There was the opportunity to affirm what is true and shift internally, right? And then they change themselves, the external things, by our thoughts of spirit, affirming divine, sublime order, affirming and knowing that all is well. letting forms alone, because form has no power. Format has no power. So in the science of spirit, we do not try to change people or things. We change our thoughts about people and things. We change our consciousness, and then we judge from the self. This reminds me of the opening lines of verse 29 in the Tao Te Ching. Now we affirm verse 29 so often, right? It closes with, to the sage, all of life is a movement toward our perfection. That word perfection, the root word is whole or wholeness. That's what perfection really means, right? It's like a circle. If it wasn't fully closed, right, it wouldn't be a perfect circle, right? It wouldn't be whole. So when we use and see the word perfection, that's what we're talking about, wholeness. So all of life, to the sage, all of life is a movement toward our wholeness. But that verse opens with these words. Lao Tzu writes, "Those who look down upon this world will surely take hold and try to change things." There's that deception, right? "But this is a plan I've always seen fail. The world is Tao's own vessel. It is perfection manifest." Oh, he's echoing the same thing that Tony Nader said. Nothing emerges from consciousness but consciousness. The world is Tao's own vessel. The Tao is another word for consciousness, the divine spirit, God, the all that is, the ground of all being, Atman, Brahma, right? Many different names for it. The all in all. Nothing emerges from the Tao but the Tao. Nothing emerges from consciousness but consciousness. The world is Tao's own vessel. It is perfection manifest. It cannot be changed. It cannot be improved. For those who go on tampering, it's ruined. For those who try to grasp, it's gone. Here he echoes that when one is deceived, they will try to change things. Here he echoes that when one is deceived, the outcomes will be ruined and they will be left empty. One of the things that Emma Curtis Hopkins writes about, as she writes about this lesson, is that this is a timeless, eternal truth that you can find across all spiritual traditions. So here we're using ancient and modern to demonstrate that the lesson, be not deceived, is a foundational lesson that each and every one of us as spiritual beings having a human experience must learn and embrace. So lesson 8, be not deceived, is the light for your awareness. So let this light be your light. Because it is only in the light that you can see clearly. It is only in the light that you can judge fairly. Y'all know things change in the light. One of the things that I love to do, I studied color theory as I worked in printing. And it's fascinating to understand how color changes, right? Based on the type of light that you shine on it. How color changes based on the type of paper that you use, which changes the level of saturation, how colors change based on the glossiness or whether it's matte. And again, then it outside of the light or outside of a lot of light, it looks one way, and then you shine a light on it, it can look completely different. And so lesson 8 is that light. When you shine a light, things look differently. When you shine a light, you can judge fairly, right? How many times do we ever say, oh, I need to see that in the light? Hold that up to the light. But spiritually, we don't hold nothing up to the light. We just accept what it is. I'm powerless. I'm unworthy. Woe is me. Oh, I guess this is just how it's going to be. Hold it up to the light. Emma Curtis Hopkins, right? She reminds us that on the material plane, light is the freest process of nature. You cannot bottle it up. And so using the principle of correspondence, as above, so below, as below, so above, we understand that making the use of light is one of the most powerful things we can do because it can't be bottled up. And so the light of awareness that allows you to judge from the self, it can be applied to anything. It's one of the freest processes in nature, and the spiritual light is the freest process in all of experience. So let this light be your light and judge now from the self. This is then when you will embody another lesson from A Course in Miracles. My holiness envelops everything I see. Because your holiness is then the light of awareness that sees with true sight. Your holiness is then the light of awareness that shines upon what seemed to be lost. Your holiness is a light of awareness that then shines upon that which you were once afraid of, that shines upon that which had you thinking you were unworthy, that shines upon that had you in doubt and fear. You've spent enough of your life judging from the past. You've spent enough of your life judging from other people's experience. You've spent enough of your life judging from what the news reports. You've spent enough of your life judging from gossip and other limited points of view. You've spent enough of your life judging from things that didn't work out. You've spent enough of your life judging from what your five senses tell you. You've spent enough of your life judging from fear. You've spent enough of your life judging from hurt feelings. You've spent enough of your life judging from unworthiness. You spent enough of your life judging from a God that does not exist. Don't judge for yourself. Judge from the self. Judge from the self and be whole. Judge from the self and be well. Let this light be your light, and all will be well. For this truth, I am so very grateful. And I simply say, amen, ashe, and so it is.
We are letting these weeks land so that we can integrate them. And there's an awareness that comes forth from today's message. We've already know how it works when we work in opposition to the truth. We've spent most of our lives in this way of being, and we thought it would work, and now we have evidence that it doesn't. We've spent most of our lives that way. But now we have the opportunity to take these teachings week by week and try them on, allow them to permeate, allow you to practice them so that you don't have to spend the rest of your life the way you did with the past parts of your life.
Absolutely.
Take this teaching this week. Don't rush ahead. And realize, right, PG, I have. That's what I used to do. And something within me knows that that's not how it's supposed to be, or has to be, or will be. I get to choose. Thank you, PG.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, in this moment, it is time for giving. Of course, we are grateful and thankful for each and every one of you and those of you who choose to give and support the mission, vision, and purpose of Celebration Spiritual Center. We appreciate you because it supports CSC in being all that it is. It supports this live stream. It supports the equipment. It supports all of the other back-end technology and things that we use to support this ministry and support each and every one of you. And that's the practical part of giving, right? We give where we're spiritually fed. And of course, we give because we recognize that this place supports the growth, transformation, and unfoldment of so many people. And because CSC exists, because of those that gave 13 years ago, CSC is still here 13 years later. Those that gave last year, CSC is here this year. So we give from that place very practically. And we recognize that giving is a spiritual practice, right? We recognize that giving, as we use and circulate our finances, is like breathing in and breathing out. And we recognize what happens when we hold our breath. Yes, yes. We recognize that that would ultimately cause discomfort and some unwanted outcomes if we hold our breath long enough, right? And refuse to breathe, refuse to give out. And thus, by refusing to give out, we can't receive, and we can't receive that which benefits us. And so it is important that we come to an understanding spiritually around giving that's not about a specific amount of money. It's not tithing 10% and will a man rob God and all of that foolishness. It's not that, right? Right? That's a misinformed take. But we do recognize that withholding of any form, right, is like holding our breath. And that applies at every level of our lives, right? So we must remain open. Additionally, most of us want to receive things, right? And so we cannot receive with a closed hand. And so by giving in this space, understanding that's a spiritual practice, we get to practice and embody that universal truth that applies to every area of our lives. And then not only that, as we get to prove and experiment here in this space, we then get to prove and experiment and demonstrate it in every other area of our life. In all the spaces that we circulate our finances, in the spaces where we circulate our ideas and our thoughts, in the spaces that we circulate our gifts, skills, talents, and abilities, in the places that we circulate our time, and the places that we circulate our care, we give from that awareness, recognizing that we're giving from an eternal source. And the way it works is that all that I give returns, right? And it returns in the ways that I need it, and I need to receive it, that you need it, and you need to receive it. And so we affirm this spiritual truth, which is the absolute truth of our lives. All the money that I circulate,
All the money that I circulate
returns to me multiplied.
returns to me multiplied.
In a never-ending cycle.
In a never-ending cycle
of increase. And enjoyment.
And enjoyment.
Yes, yes. And so again, we are so grateful and thankful. There are many ways to give to CSC, which you've seen throughout the stream. You can go to our website to give, or you can text to give, 347-744-9500, or you can download the Church Center app and give via the Church Center app. But we are so grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. Grateful to be here. Grateful to celebrate these truths together as one family. Grateful to expand and to elevate. Grateful to heal together as we continue to do that. And so we will be moving into next week, which will be March. It will be our anniversary month. And then, of course, we will also be closing out this sermon series, the third part of our series. I'm excited about where we're going, where we're headed, and all of the powerful things that are taking place in our community. Of course, remember, we have Put Down Your Bible on Wednesday. So questions that you have, we'll be expanding definitely more on this lesson, Be Not Deceived. But any other thoughts or questions that you have, you can post in the CSC Live group. There's a thread dedicated to Put Down Your Bible. There's also an After the Sermon thread. So if you have questions specifically about the sermon, and I will bring those in to our session on Wednesday. And then, of course, we'll be back together next Sunday. We love and appreciate y'all. Okay? Bye for now.
Bye for now.